Good morning and welcome to The Breakfast Show here at New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council's 2018 Statewide Conference at Lovedale in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. I'm Michelle Alexandrovich-Lovegrove. Now, before we start our yarn up today, we're going to, I'd like to acknowledge the Wonnarua people whose land that we're on and pay respect to elders past and present and those who will be our future elders. Now, New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council statewide is an opportunity for the Land Rights Network to gather and discuss many issues of importance in land rights, and delegates from more than 100 local Aboriginal land councils have travelled from around this great state to be here this week. There's a lot on the agenda, but I would like to first introduce NSWALC's CEO, James Christian, to kick off this morning, so welcome.
Good morning, Michelle.
Now, James is a Wiradjuri man from the Riverina area who's been with NSWALC since May 2017 as Chief Executive Officer. There's many years of experience behind him in Aboriginal affairs. Now, James, this year's statewide has a theme. It's called Beyond Survival. So can we unpack that a bit? What does that mean?
Yeah. So our Land Council, which we fought to fiercely make our own, is unparalleled. It's the envy of other states and territories, and around the world we've looked to see whether there's anything equivalent to what we have here in New South Wales in terms of Aboriginal land rights, and there's nothing to parallel what we have. But we've fought hard, and we need to continue to fight hard to make sure that we get the best from the land rights movement that our original forefathers, when they sat down 40 odd years ago at the Black Theatre in Redfern to develop a set of demands to government for compensation, recompense for dispossession of our lands in New South Wales. They sat down and devised the land rights movement. Now, we've had 35 years of the Aboriginal Land Rights Act, and we've survived many challenges, some of those hostile challenges to our very existence, and we've come through. And our strength and unity at those times of challenges have been really, really critical. And I guess that signifies really the main feeling or emotion that many of our delegates have come to this conference in the Hunter Valley with for this conference, is that sense of support for the land rights movement, but also a sense of unity and collective movement. And so we've survived. Yeah. But now we're entering a phase in the land rights system where we need to focus on unlocking the opportunities that we've got through what we've gained. We are the second or third largest landowner in New South Wales. We are financially independent of government. We are apolitical. They're things, again, that are the envy of other Indigenous groups, not only in Australia but around the world. But we now need to turn our focus on building for the future, and that's beyond survival.
And that building for the future brings with it, I guess, you know, a whole heap of new challenges, other issues to contend with. And I think sometimes I sort of hear from the general community is that because the Land Rights Act has been with us for so long and we have made so many gains, we're sweet. We rest on our laurels, but that's not the case, is it?
No.
I mean, there's more to come.
No, there is, and our people deserve more than that. The Land Rights Act and what it's been able to deliver us through the land claim system, the land that we've reacquired through the land rights system, our statutory account, which is healthy, the fund is very healthy, we manage that very strategically. We outperform in terms of our financial management and our investments, we outperform New South Wales Government's Treasury Corp.
Yeah, wow.
But we cannot be satisfied, just happy with really what we've been able to achieve to date. It's about pushing beyond that because our people deserve more than what we currently have. And again, that's why we are focused in these discussions over the next couple of days in the conference on what we need to do now to prepare ourselves for the next wave in the land rights movement, the next 5 years and beyond.
And I know something that you have been particularly interested and active in since you've been CEO of NSWALC is, we have land rights, but it's, you could say perhaps core business is the reclamation of unclaimed Crown land, but it's more than that. It's about housing, it's about well-being, it's about cultural health. And NSWALC's involved with all of that too. Yeah.
Look, we should be very clear that we're not done in terms of reacquiring our land through the land rights system. We have over 34,000 claims, unresolved claims in the system at the moment. We are lodging new claims, so we continue to focus on reacquiring additional land. We are very focused on how we govern and how we manage our land rights system, and we're motivated by the engagement of our members, and we need to do more for our Land Council members, of course, because we've got 25,000 members within the land rights system, making us the largest Aboriginal member-based organisation in Australia. But in terms of looking to the future, we do need to, and discussions at this conference will focus on our three greatest assets that we've got: our culture and heritage, the land that we've reacquired, so our land, and our people. And we know that we need to do more for our people so that they can reach their full potential. And that focuses on things like being able to secure the most basic, which is affordable and secure appropriate housing, but also being able to participate in the economy through training and employment and Aboriginal businesses.
Now, James, I was talking about asking James this beforehand, and for a CEO as busy as he is, we'd sort of wanted to yarn it up a little bit outside of land rights to who we are as people within land rights. So, you know, you are CEO, but you're a Wiradjuri man, you have cultural obligations, family obligations, you have children. What do you get up to outside of outside of work?
So much to my my mother's disgust, who was the eldest in a family of 16 and raised 16 children.
Wow.
I have just one child, and I'm very proud of our daughter Madison. These days she doesn't take very much of my time and attention. She probably is concerned about how much time she's spending with us, actually. But look, outside of work, I'm a AFL tragic. I'm a Swan supporter, but I'm perplexed when it comes to GWS playing the Swans, because I've got a nephew that plays for GWS, young Zach Williams, number 29. So look out for Zach, 29 this year in the AFL.
Yeah, okay. So AFL and a bit of R&R and...
Bit of R&R, a lot of sleeping when I can get it in.
Yeah. And what are you looking forward to most this week? And I'll let you go.
Look, the program that we've put together is very action-packed. I'm looking forward to being able to kick back and enjoy our dinner on Wednesday night, when we celebrate our elders and our youth through our Elders and Youth Awards on Wednesday evening. So looking forward to that.
Alrighty. Okay, thank you very much, James.
Thanks, Michelle.
And we'll catch you a bit later, huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, I'll grab that. Thanks. Now, I think we do have Councillor Charles Lynch with us. Thank you so much, James, and we'll hopefully check in, with James maybe tomorrow morning if he has some time as well. Yeah, come on in. Come on in. So, here, now you've got to hold this microphone. And so we are live on Facebook. Now I can say Yama now, can't I?
That's
Yama, good morning.
I'm happy to take requests. We can start off with a few early ones, if you like.
Yeah. So this is Councillor Charles Lynch, who's one of our 9 councillors for the 9 regions in the Land Rights Network. He's a councillor for our Northern region, a Gomeroi man, based in Tamworth, is that right?
That's correct,
yep.
yep.
You're based in Tamworth. Now, I'd like to welcome you.
Thank
See
you.
how he just comes in, right, and he just takes over. So that's his Gomeroi mob. That's what you guys
Gomeroi.
do.
We're
That's
Gomeroi mob.
Gomeroi. That's what you do.
Very powerful group of people, warriors in our own right, and very honoured to be from that country.
So tell us about Northern Region. I think maybe some people from outside of the network are saying, what does that mean?
Yeah, and look, Northern Region's one of 9 constitution regional areas, and obviously made up of individual lands councils. My region goes from the bottom of Singleton up to the Queensland border, all the way up to Moombaleen.
Yeah, wow.
And hide all the people up there in the mob. Out to Dorrigo on the east coast, and across to Coonabarabran in the west. So quite a big area. There's 14 LALCs in there, so 14 individual entities, and it makes up a very good and strong, and obviously the number 1 region.
The number 1 region. Now you've got some stellar LALCs in your region, and I know that terrain's diverse, people are diverse, etc. There are a couple that you just want to mention specifically.
Look, and not just the big ones, but also the small ones. I've got a couple of very small LALCs in my region, and they're out there doing some wonderful things within their community. up to my larger LALCs where, you know, some have got over 800 members. And again, doing some wonderful and inspiring things. I look at Tamworth LALC, who's the only Lands Council in New South Wales to have a opportunity hub, and going ahead in leaps and bounds. And also look at the little places like Dorrigo and Ashford, who, you know, they've got their own little enterprises going in their communities and also doing great things for the local people.
And talking about Dorrigo Plateau, so there's Dorrigo Plateau LALC, which is a small LALC, and there are some wonderful people who are members of that LALC. So a little story, last night I was coming back from here, it was very late, and I was outside my villa and sort of standing in the darkness, it was all quiet, etc., and I heard someone come out of the house next door, and I heard a voice, and it was Robin Heath, who was the CEO, Dorrigo Plateau LALC, and I just said, hello, in the darkness. He's like, God, who's that? Anyway, I found out they're next door. He's next door, and Uncle Cecil Briggs, who is quite a legend. Can we just have a quick chat about Uncle Cecil?
Absolutely. Uncle Cecil, who I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he turns 80 this year. He's here at the forum. We marched back in August, and he walked the whole trip with me.
Amazing.
Uncle Cecil also was part of the 1977 establishment of land rights and the call for land rights in New South Wales. He was one of the first interim leaders of New South Wales Aboriginal Lands Council. A very inspiring man, but the one thing that I like about Uncle Cecil most of all is that he's also a humble man, and he speaks from his soul and from his heart, and I'm very honoured that to have that connection with him, and also the late Uncle Eddie Briggs, and of course the previous councillor Tom Briggs, as the three brothers. So they've brought me into their family, and I'm quite humbled by that experience.
Yeah. And for you fellows, I will try and get hold of Uncle Cecil hopefully tomorrow or Thursday to have him on, because he's a brilliant storyteller. He's just, isn't he? He's just great.
Oh, look, he's going to be a bit of a surprise tomorrow night. He's going to speak last at the venue, at the function, and he's got a little bit of a surprise coming to him as well. So, well, maybe not now. So, all you fellas out there, don't go leaking any information. But I'm sure it'll be a great night, and I can't wait to hear Uncle Cecil speak. And
I've got to ask you this now, because I did ask James. I know, being a councillor for a region as large and diverse as yours, you know, I know you're on the road a lot. I know you're a devoted family man, and you take your family obligations very seriously as well. So what do you do outside of work, or is it, you know?
Oh, look, I'm very fortunate. I've got 5 beautiful kids, 4 girls and a boy. They're all grown up, and from that I've now got 4 wonderful grandchildren. But my downtime is, look, I've got an interest and a bit of a passion for old cars, and obviously spending time with the family whenever I can in the mob. So, but I will make one thing out, you know, and this leadership stuff comes with a lot of challenges at times. And probably the hardest thing for me, it also brings a bit of loneliness. So, when you get home, it's good to have those downtimes and, you know, spend time with the family.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Councillor. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
And have a good day, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Absolutely. Have a great day, guys.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, see you later. So that was Councillor Charles Lynch, who's the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council's councillor for the Northern region. Great guy. We're actually going to try and grab a couple of people, as I said, Uncle Cecil Briggs from his region, hopefully for our live streaming from 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'd like to just stop down for a moment. We have a little treat for you, a little video. We did have opening ceremony and some highlights and some entertainment from last night. So let's have a look.
Here we are at the beautiful Crown Plaza in the Hunter Valley for the 2018 New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council Statewide Conference. Today's our first day. It's come to an end, and the theme for the conference is Beyond Survival. So over the next course of the next 3 days, we'll be unpacking what that actually means.
So what I'm going to do...
I love the welcoming, I love the dancers, the Wonnarua dancers, and the favourite part of tonight was just seeing all the delegates, all familiar faces, everyone saying hello.
Okay, all right.
So to me, it's like family.
Just come and sit down.
Coming together.
This is my first conference, and I'm looking forward to meeting new people and doing some networking because I'm new into NSWALC. I'm actually wanting to learn about what's happening overseas, with our guests that are coming to speak with us.
So really looking forward to it. Can't wait to start the conference tomorrow around the conversations, the important conversations for our local Aboriginal land councils. And it's a really special time for all our Lauks. So thanks very much, and we'll see you later.
Welcome back to the breakfast show for New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council Statewide Conference 2018. We are live streaming from the Hunter Valley, in the beautiful Hunter Valley in New South Wales. I'm Michelle Alexandrovich-Lovegrove, and we've been yarning up today, and we're going to yarn up across this week from 8 a.m. live, and we're also live streaming all day from Statewide Conference. But I'm actually sitting here with a pretty special fella, gentleman, Mr. Roy RC, who is also the chair of New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council and has been a board member for quite a number of years now, haven't you, Councillor?
Yeah, that's correct, Michelle. I've been there since 2007, got first elected to council, and then progressed on to the deputy chair, and now, of course, the chair of the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council, which is a real honour.
Yeah.
A real honour. And the conference, I guess, today is about that legacy. And people from right across the state of New South Wales that deliver for our land councils on the ground under extremely difficult circumstances. There are people that have left their footprints that are no longer with us, and they're the ones, our guides. They're the ones that we really need to acknowledge and pay homage to, because without their inspiration and their aspiration, then myself and the other land councils and the people that are in leadership positions certainly wouldn't have the opportunities that we got today. So it's a real honour to sit as the chair of the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council.
I do know that, you know, what you just mentioned about paying homage to our forebears and the warriors who walked before us, that's actually something quite close to your heart, because I know you talk about that often, that really matters to you. So we talk about that being an important thing. Why is it important that we continue to remember those who've walked before us?
Oh, look, it's about that transition. You know, it's the collective wisdom of our people. And I've made statements that the collective wisdom of our people don't get it wrong. Yep. Individuals get it wrong, but when our mobs come together, our Land Council network, we have over 25,000 members. We're the biggest member-based organisation in the country. No other Aboriginal organisation's got a membership of 25,000. So, you know, that itself is a very important part of our network. But it's them people that are no longer with us, that have left them footprints for us to follow. It's like our elders. You know, they've got wisdom, they've got knowledge, they've been there, they've done it, and if we don't learn from that, then I think we get lost. We get lost. Yeah. And they're our guides, so they guide a path for us. And it's pretty simple to sit down and listen. I've got two ears for a reason. I've got one mouth, you know, and that's to listen. And sometimes I'm not a good listener because I think I know. Well, and that's not the case. So I need to listen to my elders and the younger people that are coming through. They think differently to us. You know, we've got to embrace our young people as well. We've got millenniums at this conference. They're the younger ones. They're the thinkers. They want everything today. But as we know, being on this journey of land rights, we've been here since '77. And that's over 40 years. So it's you know, in these changing times, we need strong leadership. We need leadership leaders that are going to be convicted to the agenda that's in front of us, and that's our strategic plan over the course of the next 5 years. And we've got an amazing council.
We do. We've got a pretty deadly chair too. And I love what you say about collective wisdom. The power of collective wisdom, and then being able to, you know, keep that close to us as we walk along.
Absolutely.
And Councillor, I've got to say though, you know, with all the work that you've done, you're continuing to do, you know, Prime Minister's Advisory Council as well, and a range of other things. You know, you're leaving your own footsteps as well. I'm sure you've considered that, haven't you?
Well, Michelle.
No, but it's true though.
Look, one day, when the time comes to reflect, I'll look back and I'll say I'll be forever grateful for being given the opportunity that I've been given.
Yeah.
A lot of doors have opened, but it's come as a result of hard work, Michelle. You know, it's believing in something, and then going out and commit to that belief, and making sure that your convictions are a part of your principles. And I'll openly say it to anybody and everybody. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't gamble. I live a clean, healthy life. That's where I come from.
And that's where you also get that energy too, eh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a belief that I have to, because I've seen what alcohol, I've seen what drugs, and I've seen what gambling done to my family and our communities.
Yeah.
I go back home and I'm reminded of the scourge of these social nooses that are around our neck.
Yeah.
And it's leadership positions like this where we can start to make change. We got Nigel Scullion who's coming today, the Federal Minister for Indigenous Affairs.
Yeah.
Now it's not every day. He's at the Senate, so he's taken a leave of absence to come up and address the conference because he sees the value in this network and our land councils. We're only as good as our members. And my job, I get up every morning to do my job, and my job is to serve my people and it's to serve my members. Nothing more, nothing less. And the day that I can't get out of bed to serve my members, I think it might be my time to sit back and reflect.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, Councillor, thank you so much for your
No
time
worries,
today. Are you right? Maybe if you got a minute, can you come and check in tomorrow morning, perhaps, if you're able?
Oh, for sure. If you'll have me back on your program, I'll come back.
I'll have you back. Of course, I will. So we're live streaming across the day too.
Yeah.
But I'd love it if you could spare us some time,
No worries.
and we'll have a little bit of a recap of maybe what happened today.
All right.
All right.
Keep up the
Deadly.
good work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'll grab that. Thanks, Councillor.
No worries. Thank you.
Have a good morning. And Councillor RC is actually giving the welcoming address and speech this morning, so I've got to let him go. You've got to get the powder puff on the nose. No, I'm just gammon. Just gammon, off he goes. Now, you are listening to and you're watching the breakfast program on New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council Statewide Conference. I'm Michelle Alexandrovics Lovegrove. We are live streaming on Facebook. We will be live streaming all day. Okay, we won't be sitting out here all day, so sort of 8 to 8:45 each morning. Please tune in on Facebook. We're just going to have a bit of a yarn up. We will have some VIPs, some more of the official speakers, etc. But we're also just going to have some deadly, strong, beautiful people just like this lady. Woo! I'm going to hand you this microphone. Now, this is my beautiful sister of the heart, Destiny Duval.
Good morning, everybody.
And welcome.
And welcome.
Yeah. So Destiny also works for New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council, and you work in our southern zone.
I'm in the southern zone. I'm the operations manager in the southern zone. So only newly, I say newly, the last 2.5 years, I suppose. There's been some long-serving officers, been in NSWALC much longer than I, but yeah, exciting 2.5 years, I must admit. So.
Actually, you and I started around the same time.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think I started a little bit before you, like it was like the week or something.
It's just been, just a wonderful experience, I must say.
Yeah,
Hey, we just love working for our mob. That's the main thing, that I love about the job.
So the NSWALC staff that work in sort of different zones cover some of the councillor regions and directly deal with the local Aboriginal Land Council. So these are the fellas who are on the ground assisting LALC's memberships and CEOs to achieve the sorts of dreams that they want to, either with land reclamation, economic development, cultural protection, and a wide variety, a better education for kids, all sorts of things.
Exactly. To be a CEO in land council, you have to be, everybody says that you have to be a jack of all trades. So, and of course, our role within the zone office is to provide the supports to enable them to do the job. And it can be quite tricky at times, but at the end of the day, it's about supporting our mob to make sure that at the end of the day, the community, is benefiting through our land rights legislation at the end of the day. Yeah.
And you've got there's quite a few, and I mean I shouldn't be remarking on this as something unusual, but I do know that in your regions there's a lot of really strong women CEOs.
Definitely, and it's just a privilege. It's a real privilege and honour to see how the women, supporting the community and taking on as much as they do. And I think that's a strength of Aboriginal women, right across the board. We've had to do that, right across from time immemorial, as we always say. But it's that ongoing strength that we need to have. because it's the, providing for the next generation at the end of the day, thinking forward for the future of the young people. So very strong women in our zone, and we have the Wonnarua region as well as the South Coast region. Wonnarua region we have 23 LALCs, and in the southern region we have 13 LALCs on the South Coast. So so 34 land councils that we support.
34 land councils.
So it keeps us a little bit busy.
Yeah, and where are you actually based?
So we're actually based in Canberra, in Fisher. Yeah. We were based in Queanbeyan, but relocated, but still, so it's quite a large coverage that we have across the state. So yeah.
So look, I know you're busy. We've got people sort of starting to buzz around because our conference is starting in about half an hour. So people are dashing in for breakfast, and
it's
I know
good to see everybody. So it's
it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
And Destiny, as a staff member, has a lot of duties to do today, so I don't want to hold you up for too long.
Thank you for your time, and we're just looking forward to the next couple of days. Just a wonderful opportunity.
R&R, I'm asking everyone, because land rights is so consuming, and it really is. What do you do to...
Oh, look, I have young nieces and nephews who are mad basketball players, so we started up an Indigenous basketball team in ACT, so it's about, I'm on the committee for that, so we support our local Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander basketball team in Canberra, so that keeps us rather busy Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Okay, Destiny, thank you so much.
Thank you,
All right, have a good day.
Yes, we will.
All right, have a deadly day.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Right,
I'll take that. That was Destiny Deval from Southern Zone, and morning of yarning. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, couldn't be complete without a troublemaker, right? So I had to look no further than this one. Here you go.
Thank you.
I'm very honoured to be sitting next to Joe Flick, who is a Senior LALC Support Officer for NSWALC based in Dubbo, and Joe and I sort of have a number of things in common and
absolutely,
in heart, don't
yes,
we?
yeah.
And that one is with the honouring, remembering, commemorating respect for our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander forebears, our brothers and sisters, our uncles and aunties who fought for us, who fought for country in a number of wars, but most particularly for Joe and I, for our hearts in the First World War. So we're talking about our Aboriginal Anzacs. And Joe, you've done a lot of work in this area. Some of you mob, you probably know. He's had a lot of media. Just Google Joe Flick, right? And you'll see it. You'll see videos, photos, and all the work that this fella's done.
Yeah, thanks.
So you actually went to France this year.
This year I went and celebrated the 100th anniversary of the Battle of Villa-Brittna. And coincidentally, it happened on the 25th of April, so it is the third Anzac Day after the landing at Gallipoli. It is really fantastic. There was about 8,000 Australians and other nationalities there, but I was very honoured to go, and thank NSWALC for helping me get there, so it was great.
And I thought it was particularly important to mention this, but also, I had to have Joe on because we are only 2 days out from the 100th anniversary of the ceasefire, and then the very slow uptake, got to say, of the armistice in World War I. So that was actually on Sunday on November 11, which was a pretty important day for a lot of people, I think. Was it?
Yes, it was. I was hoping to be in France for that day, but...
You're here at Statewide instead.
I'm here instead, so you get the honour.
Absolutely.
So no, it's great. I attended the national service at Canberra and remembered people like Mick Flick, my pop, who served on the Western Front. People like Sylvester Sullivan from Trangie, Thomas Dodd from Walgett, William Allen Irwin from Burrabadee Mission in Coonabarabran, and a lot of those delegates and people who are related to those soldiers are here with us at the Statewide.
Now, I'm sure you mob can probably see, but I just want to point out here, Joe's wearing his beautiful poppy, right?
Yep.
And can you tell me about these medals?
Yeah.
I'll hold that for you if you like.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's they're replica medals of my granddad. I've left replica medals at the Museum Australian Franco in Villas Bretna, and the Aboriginal flag, and also a photo of George Cumbo, an Aboriginal digger from Collarinabri. So it's in this little museum on the other side of the world that, people can still remember, and if they ever get a chance to go there, they will see that, their service wasn't in vain, and they're at least remembered by those people in France, and particularly Villa Bretna. Unfortunately, they didn't get the same recognition that they got back home in Australia, and I was saying to a number of people in Canberra the other day that the 11th of November was the ending of the fighting on the Western Front, but it was the beginning of the battle for Aboriginal people. The Aboriginal soldiers who came home that weren't allowed into RSL clubs, their children weren't allowed to go to school. You had to sit in bag seats at picture theatres. You had a separate bar at the pub if you were even allowed in the pub. And that happened to a lot of our mob right across Western New South Wales. So it is particularly good to be down there and to say, we remember them, and we'll certainly not forget their efforts.
Absolutely. You right?
Yep.
You good?
Yep.
Yeah, see what he does? He made me tear up, right? I'm going, Joe, it's not 9 o'clock yet. I can't cry yet.
Yeah, no, it's an emotional subject.
It sure is.
Because it was life and death. And they fought alongside their white mates. They died alongside their white mates, and they're now buried alongside their white mates. And we hope to, or I'm trying to, organise a bringing their spirits home ceremony next year for First Nations people.
Okay.
And to say, look, we haven't forgotten about you, and your spirits are wandering over here, so we want to go back and connect them back to country. So
absolutely.
I'll be trying my hardest to do that.
Okay. All right, well, let's have a yarn about that later, because that's a really fantastic project to bring spirits home. I was actually involved in a type of project like that last year with my great uncle Miller Mack, who Joe and I have had many discussions about, but I'll leave that yarn for another time. It is really, really important, of course, if we can, is that people are able to rest on country, especially after the sorts of sacrifices that they made for all of us.
Absolutely, yeah. And there are some French people over there, like there's a couple called Georges and Madeleine. They go to the Heath Cemetery and they look after the graves of a couple of Victorian soldiers, William Rawlings and Harry Thorpe. And now they also know the story about Sylvester Sullivan, who's buried in the same cemetery.
Okay.
So, no, looking forward to trying to do something next year and be looking support from everyone out in NSWALC land to support this project, because a lot of those soldiers, as you know, are related to you, or you at least know about them. So let's do the right thing by them after 100 years and really get to bring them back home, eh?
Yeah, all right. Thank you
All right.
so much, Joe.
Thank you.
I'll let you go, my brother.
All right, thank you.
And I'll see you a bit later, eh?
All right.
All right,
Okay.
Okay. God bless. God bless you.
Thank you.
That was Joe Flick, who's a Senior Lark Support Officer in Dubbo, but he's, one of his powerful personal vocations is looking after the spirits of our returned servicemen and women, those who are with us and those who've passed. Now look, we want to probably wind up the show because I'm seeing ministers walking along here and all sorts of things. But come and sit down, my brother. So this fella's a really special fella, so I'm just going to ask you to hold that mic. So that's for you. You got a sore throat, don't you?
Yeah, had a big night last night.
Yeah,
we did.
Lawrence had a big night. This is Lawrence Barlow, better known as Lollipop. And Lollipop's big night last night was singing. You sang for hours, didn't you? The opening ceremony last night.
Oh, well, people drive you. The mob would drive you and that, and so
Sure.
it was all about giving back to the people of the country and that sort of stuff. So if I can do that there, well, time's really irrelevant to me. So
that's right.
I mean, time don't stand still for no one these days. So.
I've got to say, this fella, he's very diminutive, very slim young man. The voice, boom, just incredible. I was walking home last night, you were still singing, and I was amazed
thank you.
at how far I could hear you.
Oh yeah, thank you very much.
So big voice. When they talk about people with a voice, I reckon you should be on that list.
Yeah, you've got to give a turn to the sound man and that there sort of stuff. You've got to give them down the back out.
That's
the
true.
background, that sort of stuff. Yeah,
True. And you actually had one of our councillors was playing a bit of drums.
Yeah, Craig Cromwell, and he's been tapping along with me for a little while now. I mean, my Uncle Lindsay. He's always enjoyed his music, and I think that's what's actually keeping us going in the day and age today. Is we all need a bit of song and memories and that sort of stuff. So, and if I can sing people back home, well, that's a benefit in itself for myself. It takes you around the country. So, travel up to Wilcannia and Broken Hill and Menindee and down to Mildura and places like that. Durton.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I just want to give a shout out to my mob out there. I want to give a shout out to my sister Ilona. I love you, sis. And we're gonna go really good, me and you. I think that we do. It's all about family, and we've got plenty of family out there, and I know that they love us, and we love them too. Yeah. So I want to just send out a shout out to you for those that are out there thinking of us, eh?
Yeah. And mob in Menindee too. I mean, you've got some hard times at the moment, of course, with water though.
With the water. I travel up there a fair bit, singing me songs and that, trying to get the rain to come back, and every now and again we get a bit of luck and that there, but our poor rivers, they seem to be giving a lot more than what they can actually give. People are taking a lot more than they actually give, but what goes around comes around, and I feel things that'll change. It's all about attitude and about putting the right stuff out in the atmosphere out there to feed our spirits and our makers and that there sort of stuff. And music's been most important at actually healing, that sort of stuff. So being on the song line.
Absolutely agree with you with that. And this is really lovely because I wasn't aware of this with Lollipop before, about that really sort of deep element that comes with your music, and that sort of explains it. So you sort of have a listen to these fellas, a bit of country, really good. People were yelling out, as we do, yelling out the requests and all that sort of thing. But look, I know you've got a bit of a sore throat, so I will let you go. Lollipop did want to come on with his guitar and have a bit of a sing today, but can't. So can we maybe see how we might go tomorrow?
Maybe we'll see how we go later on, eh? You never know, we'll just go with the goo-go goes and
totally.
that sort of stuff.
Totally.
All right, thanks a lot, eh?
All right, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you a bit later, Lollipop. Yeah. Okay, so that was Lawrence Barlow, who opened last night, and he and his band were playing. We've got a couple of very special guests from Canada, and it was wonderful. They were up the back, and Tennessee Whiskey, I think, was the song, and the band knew it. So every good Aboriginal band, every good community band is going to be able to sort of have some of those requests ready. Hopefully Lollipop is going to come on tomorrow. I'm being given a sign here to keep talking, you fellas, to keep yarning, right? And I do want to just check out. I'll just see if there's any comments here on your Facebook. I actually haven't been having a look, so I'm not sure how we're going. Okay, so I'm not seeing the live streaming or any of your questions. I do want to say to you, we're going to be live streaming this program at 8 o'clock every morning. We're just going to be sitting having a yarn. Some of the yarns will be a bit more formal. Some of them are going to be about, because there's just awesome people from around the state here, and some of people's personal projects, what drives them, why they're in land rights, what is land rights, what does that mean now, and what can it mean, and how can we all have some sort of impact in our small way. There will be people who devote their lives to it, and there will be people who allow that to be a part of themselves and their communities, where there is a member of a local Aboriginal Land Council. So when you do want to join a local Aboriginal Land Council, you are joining to become a member of the Land Rights Network. So, and there's responsibilities with that, and there's reasons behind that. So you should contact your local LALC if you're an Aboriginal person and you would like to contribute in, you know, whatever small way it happens to be. And then it becomes that whole symbiotic giving relationship where the back and forth can happen. Now, I am told that we are waiting for the Federal Indigenous Affairs Minister, Nigel Scullion, is that right? Is that he's coming on, and I've been sort of given a sign to keep talking. But you fellas, I'm a Ngarrindjeri woman, so I'm absolutely privileged and honoured to be here on this country. This is not my country. I come from South Australia. I'm born in Port Augusta, a community called Rauken down the Murray River and the lakes going down to the ocean. So that's us mob. I'm absolutely honoured to be able to be hosting this event and to be able to play my part as a person from off country in the Land Rights Network here in New South Wales. It is about reclamation of land that we are able to choose how we use. So it's freehold title, so it's quite different to native title. And look, and speaking of native title, come on over. So this fella, hold this microphone, this fella's Michael Bennett, and Michael is also a member of the media team. And look, I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm trying to fill in time to wait and find out what's happening with the Federal Minister. But that's sweet, because Michael has come to New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council only a couple of weeks ago, eh? Is that right?
Look, just started 2 weeks ago on the Monday, so it's my third week, and here I am in the...
Third week, boom, right into it. But Michael's come from 16 years at NTS Corp. Right, and okay, so I've just made the introduction. I'm so sorry,
That's
mate.
all right,
I'm
maybe
bumping
tomorrow,
you. Yeah,
that's
I'm bumping
fine.
you. All right. We'll have a yarn later. Good morning.
Michelle, how are you, mate?
Good. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been a while.
It has indeed.
Okay, all right.
Well,
So
we're probably lucky we don't have these annually.
yeah, well that's
wear
right.
us all out.
So Federal Indigenous Affairs Minister Nigel Scullion has actually spared us a couple of minutes today to have a yarn with us before you go in for your big official speech today. Now, you know this is a bit of a yarn up.
Yep.
We're talking to the mob. It's a bit rough and ready. I might ask you a couple of serious questions.
No drama, mate.
Then I'm going to ask you what you do for R&R and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
all right.
Yeah, all right. So you're good?
I'm
You're
good as gold.
Okay, so I know Parliament's sitting.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So you've received special leave to be here.
I
That's
have.
correct?
Yeah, I have. So, you know, seriously important matters like this. I've got a particularly special emotional attachment, I suppose. I've been coming to these conferences for a long time, even when I was in opposition, and spending 4 days with the mob. You know, getting on the terps a bit. You know, being able to have those myriad of serious arguments and conversations about which way we should go over. Well over a decade now has been obviously a great assistance to me now in my role as Federal Minister, but equally you know, on the recreational side, it's just great to have time to develop relationships and listen properly and have a good time. And so this is a place of a great deal of memories for me, and it's great to be able to be here. I do the 1 metre an hour sort of. Nige, how you going? Great to see you again. Remember that, or you know. So it's really lovely to be here today. No, it's great.
Yeah. Now you say sort of it's close to your heart. A lot of important issues, etc. You do have clearly, you know, the national brief, the national purview, and very diverse communities, of course, as we are. But land rights in this state. What for you, as Minister, with that sort of overview, is that big shining difference with how the Aboriginal Land Rights Act is functioning in this state, as reflected around us?
Well, look, I think the Land Rights Act in this state works quite well, but the end result isn't giving what we should. You know, I don't know what thousand. I think somewhere between 11 and 18,000, depending on what day you look at it, pieces of land that are Aboriginal land that have not been handed back. Now, I'm not flogging the New South Wales government for that, because can I say, New South Wales government's over the last 20 years, and it sees the Department of Lands continue to be full of dinosaurs in some Jurassic Park that's still fighting land rights. So that's a constant battle to get them handed over. But the other issue, of course, is that we've always faced here, is when you had the land handed over, we'll get some council say, oh, that's a green zone. Countrymen can't actually use their land, or we couldn't possibly have them living next door to us, the sort of passive racism that we have all the time, which is not only annoying but now completely unacceptable.
Zoning issues?
Well,
I
the
know-
zoning issue
Yeah, yeah.
is, oh, by the way, it's now Aboriginal land, so the first thing they do, the council come round and hand you a bill to clean up the bricks that the council have been dumping on your land for decades. So, I mean, there is a long way to go, but the chunky bits are within reach. We need to call out for what it is, and it's no point just blaming people. This is a legacy issue for a long period of time. The councils need to see Aboriginal land with a great deal of respect, and you need to treat it differently because that land being handed back is not like anyone else's land. It's very important. So we don't need to rush off and declare it a green zone. Now, if Aboriginal owners of that land want to use it as a green area, it's up to them. It's up to them. It is their land to determine. And so we really need to look closely about how those zonings are being used. And if they're meeting some quota, they can't wait for Aboriginal land to be granted, so a local council meets their quota. That is off the board. We've got to stop doing that. And retrospectively, you know, it's up to councils to be fair income. They need to retrospectively go back, and they can change the zonings of that to give Aboriginal people in New South Wales an opportunity for their own economic employment or quiet enjoyment. But it should be up to them.
You know what? I'm just going to go on a total tangent here. I haven't actually seen you face to face for a while. Like, we used to talk a lot back in the day, before you were federal minister. Okay, so when you were up in the NT, you look really well.
Well, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't look as well as I have, mate.
You actually do. You look really good.
I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, so, you know, you're probably getting some
great
cultural energy.
I don't. Well, I have. It's really lovely to be back here, and it's fantastic to be around really good mates.
You don't look sick like you used to, no. Sorry.
No, well, that's the thing. I was normally recovering from a night on the Terps with the lads, but that isn't the case. You caught me early in the day.
Yeah, I know. We've got you nice and fresh, right? Nice and
early.
fresh, just newly caffeinated as well.
Yeah.
So I know you're going to have to head in a moment. But I'm asking everyone this. It's just a simple R&R. I mean, the Federal Indigenous Affairs Minister, you've been in this realm for a long time. How do you sort of like just relax and just let a lot of stuff go? Because I'm sure that it would be difficult.
I know it sounds odd. It's almost like a busman's holiday, but I spend a lot of my time with the mob. Yeah. So this isn't really work. This is sort of chilling with me mates, and so when I'm able to do that, you know, it is a real way to relax. And the other thing I do, many people would know, you know, I'm a murderer of wildlife. You know, so I like shooting and eating it, and I like catching fish and eating it. So I'm into cooking, and I've spent a lot of my time in the swag under a tree near a river, and that's how I chill. And it's most of the time I do that, I spend with countrymen somewhere or another. So it's sort of job life, but I think the balance is great. I really love what I do, and I really love actually doing it. You know, we come up with all these bullshit sort of points, you know, like we do things with Aboriginal people, not to them. But it is something that we're doing because it's the smartest thing to do. It's about handing over all of this sort of power stuff and instruction stuff back to the mob. They're quite capable of doing it. And as I say, well, why can't they get it wrong like everybody else can? And the only way you learn and get better is to have this opportunity. And so I said, you know, it's about finding that work-life balance. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in Parliament for far too long. You know, in terms of R&R, I'm very lucky to have this portfolio. Yeah. So in terms of R&R, answer is he doesn't really have any. You're one of those fellas like your R&R is actually being active. Well, that's it. Exactly. No, it's fantastic. Yeah. Look, Nigel, I'd love to keep yarning, but I know I'm looking at the time here, and you're going to need to get in. Oh, Roy will be in here whipping me up. Yeah, he will. All right, baby. Yeah. Lovely to see you, Lovely to see you. We'll catch you later on. Yeah, love to see you later. All right, take it easy. So that's Federal Indigenous Affairs Minister Nigel Scullion, who is just walking in behind our fellows here. He's going to be giving a big speech this morning as well. So nice surprise to be able to keep having a chat. Hold on. Okay, I'm being told to stop talking now. Stop talking. Come on. I'm just getting warmed up. Okay, so this has been The Breakfast Show for New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council Statewide Conference 2018. We are on Wonnarua Country in the Hunter Valley. I'm Michelle Alexander Rix-Lovegrove. Live streaming. We will be live streaming this show. Literally, you know, I'm going to be grabbing people as they come. And so if you know of anybody who's here at the conference, if you would like them to come on, have a bit of yarn up and give a shout out, please
please let them know. We will be live streaming all day. We're going to take a short break now. We'll be back around 9 o'clock, so be patient, but we will be live streaming shortly. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Ngā kia.